Hi everyone, bit of a different video today. Currently having a really busy Tuesday and making breakfast. Just thought I'd record a quick video for you on some of the insights that I've compiled recently as to what makes cold email really difficult. So, been having a few conversations with business owners and just sort of looking under the hood of their cold email strategy and helping them to work out a few ways that they're really fundamentally getting things wrong and what they can do to actually improve their cold email strategy to see more results. A lot of the conversations that I've been having recently is, our cold email don't work for us. We've never really seen any returns from it. And I just wanted to go over some of the core fundamental issues that I've recently seen in the hopes that this is going to help people understand how they can make cold email easy for themselves, right? So a bit of an opposite into what the title of this video is called. But I think the first thing that we need to talk about, and again, you just have to excuse me because I am making breakfast right now, so there's going to be a bit of back and forth up and down my kitchen. But I think the first thing that we obviously want to look at, right, and understand is that ultimately, throughout all the noise that we currently have in 2025, in general, like all these different sales tools, these different GTM strategies, all these fancy new ways of doing cold email and just outreach in general, you need to remember that ultimately what it comes down to is just the offer that you're sending out. And a big fundamental mistake that I see a lot of people make is they've not assessed whether their offer is more of a demand generation offer or more of a demand capture offer. Because understanding that is, well, it's going to make a lot of difference into how your copy should be structured and what you're actually sending out in your cold emails, because obviously it's an at-scale approach, right? So if you get this wrong, then that's why your reply rates are low, that's why you don't get many leads coming through, or that's why you maybe get a spell of really poor quality leads, because you've not got this fundamental thing wrong. And just to talk on that then, like what do I actually mean by, demand generation versus demand capture? And ultimately, to put this as simply as possible, your offers can either be one of those things, right? A demand capture offer it's an offer that people are already buying, they're already aware of it. It's not a new amazing new thing in the market. People are buying it already, and you are just one out of many different service providers that are able to provide that solution, right? So demand capture is, well, especially with cold email, demand capture is ultimately just outreach into a load of people who are your ideal clients and getting lucky, right? Because you've just outreached to them at a time where this is going to be top of mind for them, okay? So I'm going to figure out a way for how I can just attach like some example copywriting approaches into this video. But ultimately the way I'd look at this is if you're a service provider maybe in, I don't know, web design or video production or SEO, these are services that people are already aware of, and you're ultimately just going out to a big market and sending emails that are well structured and well written so that you're just getting in front of the right people at the right time. Demand capture offers can be really good for signal based approaches as well, so using tools like Triggerfy and things like that to really like identify when the best opportunity to reach out to someone might be. I've posted a video before on, and I'll link this up above somehow as well, but I posted a video before for recruiters on how they can use Clay to ultimately go and identify when when one of their ideal clients posts a job and get the mobile number of the decision maker to ring them straight away. All of these things are because the nature of these offers, they are demand capture offers. Like you're not generating demand for these things. Your ideal clients are already aware of what you do, and you're ultimately just looking to outreach to people at the right time. Now, the problem that I see with a lot of people's cold email strategy that have a demand capture offer is it's just how they write their copy. Like, the reality is if you go send cold emails and your offer is something like video production, SEO, recruitment, anything that fits the description I just said, and you're using the call to action of like, hey, do you want to book a meeting for 20 minutes? Or, are you interested in these? Having a call to action like that will literally exponentially ruin your entire outreach strategy, because you need to understand that there's so much competition in your industry. People would rather do something that I'm not going to say for YouTube's sake than have a call with someone that they completely don't know, who is just saying the exact same thing in their cold email as another 3 people that they've had today already, right? So if your offer is demand capture, you have to stop asking for calls in the first email. It will, in real time, ruin your brand. If you just continue to do that, what I would do, if your offer is demand capture, you have to switch to call to actions that are leading with value first. So I'm talking like offering a PDF, offering a video going over a specific problem that they might be experiencing. You know, an asset like that, you have to switch to a call to action that's something along those lines. The amount of times that I've even seen people include like Calendly links just in their email, it's the first way that you can just guarantee that you're not going to see a return from cold email. If you're just like including Calendly links for people to book in with you straight away in the first email, it's not going to get you returns. So what you need to do is you need to swap away from a call to action like that, and you need to change to a call to action that's leading with value. So like I said, I'll try and attach some copy that we've sent before here somewhere in the video. But what you need to have is some sort of resource or something valuable to people that you can basically offer them and start a conversation around, okay? So that's the first thing. It has to be in the offer and how you're actually writing your copy. If you have a demand capture offer, you can't be including things like book a call with me, right? So on the other end, we've then got demand generation, and demand gen offers are typically associated with, you know, software companies that have built a new tool or a new product, something that solves a specific problem in the market. And often something that I've said in the past is these kind of businesses, they are their own lead magnet because the business itself is the solution to the problem. So if your offer is a demand gen offer, right? So maybe you've built like a new product and you're looking to take it to market and get some, you know, feedback from it. This is where, you know, going for a call might actually work, or maybe saying, you know, something a little bit more like having a call to action that is a bit more direct and like, you know, maybe do you want to sign up for a free trial, or do you want 7 days free to try this product out? Do you want a quick 15-minute chew the fat call just to see what, or maybe you could even go out and ask for some feedback on it. So you could just go out there and say, you know, open to just talking through this for 15, will be great to hear your feedback. Something along that, like asking for people's time directly is a bit more acceptable if your offer is demand generation, because like I said, it's often your offer will be its own lead magnet, if that makes sense, because your entire business is built around a specific problem that you know your ideal clients have. And usually if your offer is demand generation, you can afford to just be a bit more direct with a call to action and ask for people's time there and then. So throughout all of that, I think the first thing I'd do is you just got to be aware of whether your offer is a demand gen or demand capture. And depending on which one of those your offer is, you need to take that advice that I've just said and modify your copy to suit whichever branch you're on. So that would be the first thing. You know, fundamentally, that is probably one of the biggest things that I see people just get really badly wrong. And yeah, it's probably the quickest way to guarantee that you're not going to see any results from cold email if you're not aware of that, right? So that's the first thing. I think obviously there's a lot of other like little problems, but I think for the sake of this the sake of this video, I'm probably just going to focus on like the fundamental ones, because I could sit here and talk to you about like, oh, you know, people aren't using this software and this software to build their list. It's, whilst yes, you could see better results doing those things, I think what I want to do is really just focus on the fundamental stuff. And I think the other fundamental error that I see people making is actually one to do with their infrastructure. So when I say infrastructure, what do I mean? I mean domains, right? So secondary domains to send outreach from. I mean, setting up mailboxes to then go and obviously put on those domains to then send outreach from, right? And the way that I see people mess up, I say there's three key areas, right? It's one would not be using any secondary domains to send emails from. So not buying a load of Trojan horse domains to go and use for the outreach instead of using your own domain. The second one would then be putting too many inboxes on one domain, or putting too much sending volume through one domain. And then the third would then just be not using an effective warm-up tool to actually warm up your email so that they're ready to send outreach from. And like I said, with infrastructure, it's very important that you get it right, because especially in today's landscape, it's very easy now to just be going to spam within the first month of setting up your accounts, because Google and Outlook are now very strict in terms of how they filter out email, like with the obviously turnaround of Gemini and some Microsoft AIs that they've built. It's now very easy for them to spot, bulk sending patterns, i.e. cold email senders. So I think with your infrastructure, what I would recommend doing is having a ratio where you have, purchase a domain. Let's say you want to send 500 emails a day, right? To get to that volume, what I'd recommend is per domain, have 2 inboxes, and then per inbox send 20 emails per day, right? So that means that if my domain is example.com, I might set up 2 mailboxes that are joe@example.com and jod@example.com. Each one of those mailboxes will send 20 emails per day, right? So if I wanted to send 500 emails a day to my target audience, then I would need to set up, 500 divided by 20, which is the volume per mailbox. That's 25 mailboxes. Divide that by 2, which is 12.5. So I'd need 13 domains and 25 mailboxes. 26 mailboxes, obviously two on each domain, to be able to send 500 emails a day. Okay? And the way that I see people fundamentally mess this up is they'll buy like 2 domains and put like 250, emails a day through each one. And it's just, you need to look at it in terms of like cold email. Like Microsoft and Google don't want you really sending bulk messages, right? Like that's the whole point of the new policies that they've put into place. So do you really think that for one person or like one domain with however many mailboxes on it to send over 250 emails every single day consistently, they're going to look at that as a clear and obvious sign of bulk automation? Whereas if you're only sending 40 emails per day per domain, that's very, aligned and on par with what just a manual SDR sitting at their desk will be able to do. So whenever you're setting up your infrastructure, you need to try and look at it from the perspective of like, what are Google and Outlook actually filtering out right now? Well, they're trying to prevent bulk automation. So just make your infrastructure and the way you send emails seem less automated. It's as simple as that. And I literally had a call with someone the other day who was sending like 300 emails a day per each domain, and they weren't getting any replies from their cold email. And that's a change that we've now made straight away, just to fix from an infrastructure perspective. So these have just been the 2 core things that I would encourage anybody to think about whenever they're setting up a cold email campaign. It's got to be, your offer, what's the nature of your offer? And then also thinking about like your infrastructure and how to make it seem less automated. Like I said, there are a lot of other things that we can talk about, but for the sake of this video, I'd say these are probably the 2 fundamental things that I see people get really wrong. And I hope that this has just helped people to maybe look at their strategy and think about making some changes. If you do have any more custom problems that you think you're experiencing at the moment, feel free to just reach out to me. There's a link in my YouTube channel just above. You can just book some time with me, either just on the phone for 15, or we can just have like a longer format video call to talk about it. But yeah, any problems, any questions that you're having, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks.